topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. Do you want to live a more fulfilling life? Do you want to live your legacy and achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals? Well, coming up on Divya Parekh's Beyond Confidence, you will hear real stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and achievers who have stepped into discomfort, shattered their status quo, and are living the life they want. You will learn how relationships are the key to achieving your aspirations and financial goals. Moving your career or business forward does not have to happen at the expense of your personal or family life, or vice versa. Learn more at www.divyaparekh.com, and you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. This is Beyond Confidence, and now here's your host, Divya Parekh.
Good morning, listeners. It's Tuesday and a beautiful day. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and I want to share that Thanksgiving is such a beautiful time to bring our perspectives back into a life where so important to look at what we have instead of what we don't have. And I can guarantee you that if you were to kind of sit down and write what you have in comparison to other people, you'd be way ahead in the game. Today, we are taking a different format for the show. So, one of the things I do want to thank each and every one of you who have got our books. Really, really appreciate it because the profits from our books go to kiva.org, and because of you, we are able to help global entrepreneurs and help them all across the globe. And I also highly encourage you to spend that 1 hour of your time helping someone with no strings attached. So today we are going to talk about how to gain a competitive edge. So first of all, let's even think about what is a competitive edge. So folks, here's the thing. When you are in your industry, whether you're a corporate professional or whether you're an entrepreneur, what happens is that there are several other people at your level, regardless of, even if you're an expert, there's always another expert. And when you're talking about another expert, then what happens is that how do you stand out? How do you gain that competitive edge? And when we talk about the competitive edge, it doesn't mean that you have to compete. It's all about getting that edge for yourself that helps you get that promotion that you're looking for, that helps you bring in the new clients, that helps you grow your business. And that's the key, is that how do you create skill sets? How do you upgrade it? Because here's the thing, folks, to successfully navigate today's complex and hyper-connected, high-stakes marketplace, the key to getting ahead of the curve is by building a solid foundation of your ability to think strategically, analyze opportunities, create plans, and execute them. And here's the thing, if you don't do that, if you don't invest time in developing yourself, you're going to stay behind. Doesn't matter how much automation do you have. And here's the thing, folks. In my experience, the people who succeed aren't afraid to challenge the status quo and innovate in others, innovate in themselves, innovate in their business, innovate in areas others think like, oh, nothing can be done here. So it's about pushing yourself pushing yourself out of comfort zone. Success is not an accident. It's a systematic and strategic process you can apply to any area of life and goal. Knowing where you need to go is the key to making the jump from the status quo to a higher success level. And what happens is, folks, yes, I'm talking about status quo and all that, but your daily disruption, the daily needs, and putting out fires on a daily basis, what it does is that you're focused on short term instead of thinking about long term gain. So it's really important to cut through the noise, learn and implement from leading industry experts who stay on the cutting edge. And most leading experts share their expertise and experience through different content, including books. And any one of you who has been listening to our podcast know that books are my favorite. Man has used books since the beginning of time because they're the most effective medium to gain insights that stimulate personal growth. Books are better to gain in-depth knowledge than any other medium like TV, YouTube, blog post, article. And why is that? Because you get concentrated information on a particular subject at one place, especially if it's been written by an expert who's world class, who is a master at their craft. So, for example, if you want to gain some knowledge about selling, you'll go pick up one of those best selling books, and everything you need is in there. And if it's well written, if it's a good quality book, it will provide the information in a way that makes it easier to understand. And then, of course, whether you're listening to a book, whether you're reading a book, you can easily look up topics that you don't understand. Not only this, folks, reading can be meditative. It spurs imagination, it improves concentration, it reduces stress, and so much more. So let's take a look at these books. Now you may say that, Divya, where am I going to find the time to read tons and tons of books to upgrade my skill sets in different areas? So I'm going to share you how you can do that. What if you had the distilled synthesis from every book at the tip of your fingers? So I want to talk about one of my favorite books, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Okay, so it's probably quite a big book. Now I'm going to give you very short summary in next few minutes. So there are three things that we will be speaking about today. One is what's a habit loop? The second one is how to create a new habit. And third is how do you make that change last? All right. I'm sure that there are some areas that you'd like to change about your life. It could be eating healthier, exercising more, or become more organized. And what is one of the best places to look to create new and lasting change in your life? Habits. Because once you understand exactly how your habits work, you'll be equipped to change them. And Charles Duhigg, the author of Power Habit, shows us exactly how to do that. So let's look at how do people form habits? What is included in this habit loop? So there are three steps to every habit. One is cue. There's some event, some thought, or something that's happening in your routine that triggers a habit. For example, you're done after the whole day, you've had a stressful day, and then you come down to kitchen at late night. You look at the food And that stress within your body and your mind that you have accumulated throughout the day needs a relief. So the second portion of the habit kicks in routine, which is the actual habit, the things that you do. So you're not even hungry, it's late night, you need just something to munch. You just grab something to eat even though you're not hungry. The third piece of the habit is reward. What does this habit do for you? So basically, the reward is once you eat the food, it generates dopamine and happy hormones in your body and your mind. And like what happens is that when you are generating those happy hormones, it makes you feel good. Over time, this loop becomes more and more automatic until eventually the cue and reward become linked forever and you have a habit. So, how can you change that habit? I just want to make sure, just to kind of recap, every habit has a three piece to it. One is the cue that triggers a habit. Second is the routine, which is the actual habit. Third is the reward. What does the habit do for you? And we looked at the example. Let's look at another example, something that's good. So, for example, a lot of people after their work day, they're stressed out. So, that's the trigger. What they want to do is they want reward where they want to get rid of the stress. And to get rid of the stress, they exercise. And once you have exercised, you feel good. So, in this case, exercising is the routine that's happening. So, I invite you to think about, do you have one of the habit loops? Can you break it down to cue, routine, and reward? So now you have a basic understanding of how habits work and how they form. Well, let's see how we can move on to replace ingrained habits with new ones. So here's what I'm going to invite you to think about. We are not going to change old habits. What we are going to do is we are going to rely on the habit loop that's already existing and just change the return. Change the return on your reward. So, okay, you have the reward, you have the cue, and now when you change the routine, what happens is you're still getting the reward, you're creating a change. So, for example, there are several people who have studied brain activity, especially, let's take an example of a German neurologist, Ulf. He has studied brain activity among alcoholics, pointing out that people use alcohol for many reasons. Sometimes it can be an addiction. Sometimes it can be to forget something. Sometimes people are looking for relief from stressful situations. So basically, what happens is when people join Alcoholics Anonymous, people get the same benefits from Alcoholic Anonymous as they get at a bar: escape, distraction, and catharsis, and none of the hangovers and regrets that come with it. So, what happens is that initially people make a commitment to going to meetings 90 times in their first 90 days. And what's happening is that people come together, empowering each other to create a new routine where you are removing the old habit of going for alcohol. It could be watching TV, or it could be exercising, or it could be a new routine that changes. And now what happens, folks? When you have created a new routine, you're still getting the same reward. You're getting escaping from the stress. You are getting relief from the stress without any regrets. The third piece is that we have looked at how habits work. We have seen how they turn into cravings. Now, the third piece is how can we make this last? As you have started building new habits. Now, when you start building new habits, the key is to explore the idea that some habits matter more than others. Let's take a look at what are these habits. So, these habits are called keystone habits. And these are the ones that have a domino effect on the rest of your life and naturally create other good habits. So, for example, I want to share there's National Institute of Health. They published an alternative approach to weight loss. They gathered together a group of 1,600 people with weight issues and asked them to write everything they ate at least one day a week. At first, it was hard. Eventually, it became a habit for them. And they started looking at their journals and seeing patterns that they hadn't expected. Some people noticed that they snacked during mid morning. So instead of having snacks, they kept a piece of fruit on the desks. Other people planned the dinners and journal and ate more healthy options when dinner time rolled around. Food journaling, it turns out, became a keystone habit for many other good habits. 6 months into the study, the people who kept daily records had lost twice as much weight as everyone else. So, folks, the key is finding a keystone habit in your life. Because when you find a keystone habit, you will be finding small wins. Small wins will lead to consistency in you taking action, and then small habits will build upon each other, creating bigger wins, and it's feeding off each other. And as a result, it will become long lasting. So, the key is to remember, folks, what is one of your keystone habits? Super important. So, folks, this is just an example of one book where we went through and got the key ideas in approximately 12 minutes. Do you think you could take 12 minutes a week, learn new ideas, get the knowledge and skill set that you can bring in your life and change your life completely? Yes, you can. Because when you upgrade yourself, when you pull in new habits, when you pull in new skills, you're automatically gaining a competitive edge. Because remember, folks, success begins with you. And when you have qualities that none other have, then there's no competition. You stand out. So, folks, what we have done is we have taken best selling books like The Power of Habit and distilled its key points in 12-minute summaries. And currently, for a limited time, we are offering a $1 trial. So, folks, if you want to check it out, look us up. The link is https:// B as in boy, I as in indigo, T as in Tom, period, L as in Larry, Y as in yellow, / book summaries for you. Check it out and see how you can upgrade yourself, uplevel your skills, and gain that competitive edge that you have been looking for. We'll see you next time, and be well and take care. Thank you, Juan, for making the show possible. And
Thank you for being part of Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. We hope you have learned more about how to start living the life you want. Each week on Beyond Confidence, you hear stories of real people who have experienced growth by overcoming their fears and building meaningful relationships. During Beyond Confidence, Divya Parekh shares what happened to her when she stepped out of her comfort zone to work directly with people across the globe. She not only coaches people how to form heart connections, but also transform relationships to mutually beneficial partnerships as they strive to live the life they want. If you are ready to live the life you want and leverage your strengths, learn more at www.divyaparekh.com. And you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. We look forward to you joining us next week.